Nation news recap. We got a lot to talk about today, but before we get into it all, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so we can keep you updated on everything going on in Bachelor Nation. Hey you guys, it is Renee Ariel here, and I'm joined by the wonderful Fiona Zering.
Hello.
Today, we've got a big update, a crazy big update. You guys, Tyler Cameron has spoken out about Hannah Brown. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm a little confused where this video came from. So apparently it's a video that Bachelor T-Spill posted. I don't know where he's talking about these things. I'm assuming on Instagram Live or on some kind of live, but like nowadays all these Bachelor people are like joining Zoom calls. So like it's very hard to keep up with. But in this Zoom call or live session, Tyler opened up about what's going on between him and Hannah Brown. And it seems like even though they're friends for now, there's something that could blossom in the future. He said, and I quote, "We're friends. It's been nice to be able to communicate and be friends again. We were able to talk and, you know, we're just starting off as friends and that's what it is right now. And we're not in a place where we should be worried about dating or anything like that right now. But yeah, that's my homie. She's my friend. But it's good to be back on good terms. She's a great person, and I'm grateful to be able to call her a friend." Should we take a shot for every single time he used the word friend? Because that was going to say a lot.
What is the friend count?
Seriously. Yeah, so here's the thing. I like that Tyler spoke out about this because it does make it seem like they are friends for now, and it is just like kind of what we suspected. They're just not in a place to be together right now, especially considering we're all quarantined. They can't like have a normal relationship right now. So what are your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. I think that, listen, we've talked about Tyler and Hannah and if they were flirting or not flirting or dating or not dating for such a long time. And I think it always just comes back to the two of them have great chemistry. You can have great chemistry in a relationship and you can have great chemistry in a friendship. I think it's very smart for them to not look at the chemistry they have, look at the history they have, and dive into something quickly, right? Like, I think they're both honestly too smart for that. I think they're both way too aware of how invested the public is. And you know what? If that means they're going to drive home the friend word for the time being and really make it clear that there is nothing romantic going on while still acknowledging that they have a good time together, they have a lot of chemistry, great, right? I think this is a smart move. I think it's probably for the best, whether they end up just staying friends or they end up more than that. This phase right now is probably very, very smart.
I could not agree more. I'm happy he spoke out about it because I know obviously we've all been wondering what's going on. So I'm glad that he said something that did keep our hope alive, but also being like realistic. Before we move on though, I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. We have Camille, Abigail, Kelsey, Zena, Benny. Benny said, "Where's my cat?" There she is. She is here. You guys, she's going to knock over my only light, so I'm being careful, but I'll have her make a little cameo at the end. And let's see. So Zena said, or I hope I'm saying your name right. Is it Zena? She said, "Tyler and Hannah are friends. I feel like he phrased this to keep the opportunity open in the future." Totally agree. But you guys, moving on to, if you've watched Fiona and I's Bachelor coverage of the show, you know we love McKenna, okay? Big fans of McKenna. Hashtag justice for McKenna. And okay, so our boy Pilot Pete and McKenna had a little bit of a back and forth on Instagram stories because McKenna posted on her story a major throwback to, well, actually it's not even that major, just quarantine is making everything feel like it's, years ago. But she posted a little clip from her time on The Bachelor and one of the dates when they played football. And she joked and wrote, "Shook that I didn't get drafted today," which, in case you guys forget that episode, McKenna had a very hard time. She struggled with it. And Peter responded to her story, posting it on his, and added, "Throwback in honor of the NFL draft," which apparently happened recently. I don't know. And then he added, "Cheering on my girls that still like me." McKenna, McKenna, I agree you should have been drafted, which that's a little bit of shade because I think he's definitely aware of the girls who do not like him anymore. But doesn't this make you wonder if he's talking about multiple girls? Because obviously we know aside from Madison, who is still following him, even though he's not following her, I can't really and Hannah Ann. I guess Hannah Ann doesn't like him. But aside from that, I don't know who else we are aware of that openly is like against Pete.
Honestly,
but McKenna,
I have to assume there's more.
Yeah, right. Especially with how he handled the whole ending of his season. But apparently McKenna is one of the ones that still likes him. And she then responded to him one last time, laughing, and then said she's low-key still mad at him for making them play football, but it's okay because she forgives him. I would be mad too. If I went on The Bachelor and I had to play a sport of any kind, which I know they make you do that every season, like it's not what you think about when you think about going on The Bachelor. You don't think about playing football, you know?
Totally. And the thing is, that football game was no joke. They had some extremely athletic girls this season. I, like McKenna, fancy myself much more of a wine drinker and dancer than a football player. I know she's like coined the term wine dancing. Had it have been a wine dancing competition, she would have nailed it. Football was a tough sport for her to get thrown into. I thought the whole exchange was cute. I agree with you. I think it's really, really interesting considering everything that's going on. Peter's little remark about the girls that still like him. There have got to be more girls that don't like him. The reality is his season was messy. And I know you and I talked about it while it was on. Like, I wonder how so-and-so feels about this watching it at home. Like, this is probably the first time they know what he did immediately after this deep conversation he had with them. Like, and on a certain level, he's the Bachelor. He's dating multiple girls at once. A lot of it is forgivable under that umbrella. On another level, he made a lot of mistakes. So maybe some of them haven't made it as public, but I'm sure he's had a lot of choice words sent to him via text, via DM from some of the girls who were eliminated throughout the process.
Oh, totally. By the way, I just had a revelation. Fiona, do you want to know why McKenna and Pete didn't work out? Why? She was one letter off. She likes wine dancing. He likes line dancing. It was so close, but just a little different. And now I get it. You know, we all have our different hobbies. Let's see what's going on in the chat.
Yeah, Sage put, I love McKenna. David said, I really like McKenna too. Oh goodness, I'm worried I'm going to mess up your name. Zinath said, love you guys. Thank you very much. J Jobs, at least Peter knows that many girls do not like him. The football episode was great. Honestly, you're right, J Jobs. Maybe it's a little humbling. It's a little self-reflecting. It's offering Peter an opportunity to grow.
Yes, no, I agree with that. Amelia added that she feels like Peter is very handsome. Listen to me. I agree with you. I think he's super cute. I had a crush on him on Hannah's season. I just didn't like how he acted on his own season. You know, it's all about what's inside, which I'm sure is great. Just we didn't see a lot of that during the 3 months he was on our TV screens. That's all. But speaking of TV screens, there's another franchise. Well, actually, it's in the Bachelor franchise. There's another show that's going to eventually be on our TV screens, and there's already drama, and it hasn't even started yet. Fiona, what's going on?
Oh my goodness. So we have all been waiting and waiting for Miss Clare's season. She's our next Bachelorette. She really shook things up with her announcement. It was like this whole new chapter in Bachelor. And of course, while now quarantined, and it has been put on hold indefinitely. So you would think there would really be no cause for drama, yet before cameras have even started rolling, got some drama to report. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with Matt James. He's a good friend of Tyler Grant's. Bachelor Nation has sort of already adopted him because they've gotten to know him so well through Tyler's social media. He spoke out saying, quote, "There's a very beautiful young lady in Sacramento right now who's quarantining and who is patiently waiting for production on a show to pick back up, and I've been waiting as well. I'm hoping after everything settles down and everyone is safe that I'll finally get to go meet her. I'm looking forward to it." So when this quote initially came out, we were like, okay, look at Matt. They're talking about recasting. He's sort of putting it out there that like he's really all in on Claire's season and he plans on showing up and being a part of it. And it was a very sweet sentiment. And honestly, personally, I kind of thought nothing more of it than that. But Claire hopped on Twitter and she ended up putting out a tweet that said, "If you are doing interviews and creating Cameo accounts before you are even on my season, you are in it for the wrong reasons. Hashtag don't waste your time." And we have all known that Claire is straight to the point and no nonsense. So this tweet is really not shocking considering what we know about her personality. Bachelor Nation obviously jumped to the conclusion that maybe she was referring to Matt. He had done an interview where he mentioned her. He had been on Cameo. So there was obviously a lot of tweets regarding his involvement. And he responded, seemingly defending himself. He wrote, "For those of you who may have missed the message earlier this week, myself and Alex Bachman, my former teammate and current New York Giants wide receiver, pledged all of our Cameo earnings to the Robin Hood Foundation to fight this fight." So a pretty good reason to be on Cameo, seeming to have absolutely nothing to do with Claire's season. Claire then responded, not to him directly, but she posted another tweet saying, "You weren't supposed to deduce, babe. It was about multiple men and a general thought I was having while we sit here in a real life crisis where everyone's time certainly holds so much weight and value." So here's the thing. I see Claire probably feeling a little bit uneasy looking at the cast of characters that they had initially cast for her from the very basic reason of a lot of them are young. And young doesn't necessarily equal immature, but it could. And while Matt is probably the most famous out of her current batch of contestants, we're probably not stalking the rest of them as hard as Claire is. And maybe she saw a ton of things popping up from a bunch of different guys and started to feel a little uneasy. I think that her reaction was understandable, but I do think that if it was directed at Matt, I feel like he deserves a little slack. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the thing is we've never dealt with a situation like this where filming had to halt after the list of contestants were released, after we knew who was going to be the Bachelor or Bachelorette, who is going to be on that season. And then beyond that, they have access to social media. People are already following them. They especially considering Matt is already pretty well known, considering he's friends with Tyler. Because of that, like, yeah, perhaps he shouldn't be doing interviews on one hand, but also like we have to adjust to this new situation. It's not the same as, seasons in the past where people that were going to be on the show weren't able to speak out because they went straight from being announced to then starting filming, whereas this obviously took a turn with the pandemic. So I don't think Matt James is necessarily in the wrong, especially if he's doing it raising money for charity. Like that doesn't seem like a bad guy to me. Also, he doesn't seem to be hyping himself up that much. Like what I got from the interview, what I really liked is it seems like he wants to make it clear he's super excited about the season for it to come on. And because he can't really flirt with Claire right now, I'm sure that's against the rules. He just wants her to know that he's thinking of her. And I was not turned off by the interview. However, in Claire's defense, I would also be super wary of any guys going on any season of The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Paradise, or whatever, because nowadays with the social media and the platform it gives you, you just never know who's going on for the right reasons. And I'm sure given how much time we have to overthink things, she's already trying to weed out who may be the wrong fit for her, even if that's not totally correct and the right conclusion to draw to, if that makes sense.
Totally agree. And the other thing is, I think that Clare, there's been so much hype about her in general, but what's really been hyped up is how she is like no nonsense. She knows what she wants. She's smart. Like they really pushed out the idea that like, I mean, they didn't say this directly, but Clare was going to be the polar opposite of Peter, right? Like they were
Yes.
giving fans something new with this season. And so I think that's got to be a lot of pressure when you see a lot of people talking about how all of the guys cast are too young for you and your season needs to be recast, which is like never really even happened. And all of these things, like she's probably got her no nonsense filter on full fledged because she doesn't want to
Yep.
let, I feel like, a lot of people down. People did tweet coming to Matt's defense, saying one person said, I mean, Matt James is currently the only pull to me for your season. Another added, same, and he spoke so well about her and said he was looking forward to meeting her. Others are going so far as to say, without Matt, cancel Clare's season. And others definitely wanted to point out why he was doing interviews. One person said, Clare, in this house we stand Matt James. He is doing interviews to promote his charity, ABC Food Tours, which is providing tablets and meals for kids in underprivileged areas. And he said he's looking forward to meeting you, so what's the problem? Of course, some people came to Clare's defense, saying that she is totally in the right for worrying about the people's reasoning for coming on the show. I think, honestly, it's sort of a very simple, like if you separate the two things, if you separate Matt and what he did and Clare's worry about people being in it for the right reasons, each thing totally makes sense. There's some messy gray area in the middle. Hopefully Clare's tweet wasn't about Matt, or if it was, since seeing all of this information come out about his charity work, about why he was on Cameo, etc., hopefully she gives him a clean slate at the beginning of the season now that she has all the information, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that at the end of the day, what we have to remember is like, as much as it is a TV show, like this is Clare's journey to finding her forever person. And if she decides that like maybe Matt James isn't for her before the show even starts, she does. I hope, the thing is, I get it. Like we're not just watching for Clare as much as it is her journey. The best part about The Bachelor is obviously the love, but also like the drama with the contestants. So I understand the people that are super excited about Matt James as well. But like if you're just watching for one contestant, you may be disappointed if they go home super early because we don't know how the show will play out. We just have ideas based on our knowledge of how past seasons have worked, you know? But like if anything, Peter, Ari, Colton should all teach us you never know how something will play out, ever.
So true. Let's see. Amy in the chat said, I think Clare is just being weary because of her past experience on The Bachelor, but I think Matt wasn't being malicious. I totally agree. I think Clare, I mean, think about it. This is Clare's, fourth time throwing herself into this crazy Bachelor process in one way or another. Like, I think she's definitely got her defenses up, and I don't think Matt was being malicious at all.
Yeah. Me neither. I do want to read this comment from Christian Walters who said, Renee's in a different room every time. Feels like I know her parents' house pretty well by now. Looking forward to checking out the garage. Honestly, I know I bounce around because being home, like living with my parents right now and never knowing who's going to be where in the house. And like our house is pretty much like an open plan. So I have to be very mindful of like where I'm filming. So I'm glad you caught on to that. I'll let you guys see the garage one day. Let's see. Oh, Tyler got a lot of credit for that Food Tours charity on Hannah Brown's season. Yes, he did. Okay, so Tammy says they need to totally recast Claire's season. Here's the thing. I think if you want a Bachelorette season like we've seen before, just in the setup being the same, yes, because at this point, that whole, I don't know any of these people, these are really my first impressions, that's all out the window. Clare has, I promise you, thoroughly stalked all 30 of them at this point, already knows just off the bat, just by seeing who maybe she's attracted to, who she'll probably send home, also looking into their personalities and like how they answer certain questions, what they're posting on social media. I'm sure she's already written about 15 guys off the list. That being said, obviously meeting in person can change things, yes, but like it makes it complicated because you're like, do you want a show that's going to be less of what we've seen before, where it is all new, all first impressions, no one knows anything about anyone? Or are we going to be on the ride of what this quarantine has done for a new season of The Bachelorette? Because I think personally, even if they obviously they'll probably recast a good amount of them, and I want them to, because I think there needs to be just a good range of ages, okay? But I think it's kind of fun and dramatic that she has time to stalk a good amount of these guys, and that who knows if they've interacted with each other. I think that'll just add to the drama.
I agree. Or at the very least, I think it'll give us a different kind of drama. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it won't be perhaps the petty house drama that it's been before. It also, like, if you think about it, how many times has someone, I mean, look at this last season with Victoria F. Like, when contestants go so far in the show without any of their, like, real life, potentially dirty laundry being aired, and as an audience, we know that ahead of time, and we're just sitting there waiting for the other shoe to drop, like, maybe some of that drama will be eliminated. Do you know what I mean? Like, instead of having a shell shock moment where a mystery woman has to stop the Bachelor on a date to, you know, get something moving, Clare can find it for herself ahead of time. So again, it might be different. I would hope that it's different in a positive way for Clare, for the viewers, for everyone involved. But there is a chance that it might just feel different. So I think the best solution would be don't recast everyone, but recast enough so that you get kind of a 50-50 split, right? Because maybe, I mean, this is what I would be doing if I was Clare. And again, I don't know the rules. I don't know what she can do or can't do. But if I were Clare, I would be calling up Mr. Chris Harrison and saying, hello, contestants A through F, I'm interested in. Contestants 10 through 30, get them out. I can tell you right now what's a no. Recast them. There's no guarantee that who they recast them with she'll like. But at least there's a mix of fresh and old, you know?
Totally. And I think it's super interesting because if you think about it, you guys, and they do, you know, I doubt they'll recast everyone, but if they do recast half of these guys and we see a season play out where, you know, some dirty laundry is exposed before the show happens, and Clare has already decided who she maybe has some beef with, isn't sure about, is excited about, that will perhaps even change for future seasons if it's something we all really love, if it's something that works. Because I honestly am already looking forward to Matt James and Clare meeting and seeing if that's awkward. Because I guarantee you at this point, if he is on our season, he's probably going to awkwardly bring up this whole interview thing during his limo exit. You know what I mean? And like, that's something I want to watch.
Right. Totally. I agree. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Nurse Tracy said if they don't recast, at least add more men who are much older. I agree. Teresa said she doesn't want any 40-year-olds. She's already said she dates younger. I don't think she's closed off to 40-year-olds. She doesn't exclusively date younger from what I've gathered. It's just she's open to it. I think she's open to just finding whoever her person is. Let's see. J Job said, have a feeling that Clare might cut out all the guys in the end. You know what? She's a tough cookie. I don't think she's going to settle.
I know. I could see that. I could see Clare just being like, in the end, I choose to be self-partnered. You guys heard that? Emma Watson said it. It's my favorite thing. Awesome. But you guys, we have time for a few more questions. So if there's anything else you have questions about, you want to talk about, let us know. Jenna did say, I don't think he'll make it out the window after this. She gets her mind made up, and that's all it takes. I think that's very possible. Like, I think maybe he's already like out of the picture in her mind, like not going to win. However, I do feel like production will convince her to have him on the show, and we'll watch that drama play out on our TV screens, which I'm here for. Also, here's Dolce. Her name is Dolce, not Gucci, and she says hello. She also says she wants all my attention, and she's not happy that I am working. I'm very sorry. We'll play after. Let's see. Okay, if they don't recast, at least add more men who are much older. Oh gosh, honey, I'm sorry, it's my tripod. Yeah, just so we have a variety. I just don't think it makes sense when you have a bachelorette that's 38 to have all guys in their 20s. I think it's fine to have a good amount, but like there needs to be a variety. Otherwise, it's very much like clear this season was cast for another potential bachelorette, you know?
Totally.
How much does production truly sway them? I think it depends on the bachelor and bachelorette because I think they obviously have a say in like dates and stuff like that. But as for like who they keep around, as much as they have a say, um, in the sense of like talking to the bachelor and bachelorette, I think it all comes down to the lead who will and like have to make their own decision. It's just a matter if they believe the producers or not. I would say. What do you think?
I agree. I also think it has a lot to do with like, and I mean, again, I, for some reason, always go back to the show Unreal. I think if you're a Bachelor fan and you haven't watched Unreal, I would recommend it. Some people might not like it because it really sort of pulls back the curtain. But
Yeah.
in that show, which I like really feel is a good case study for how a show like The Bachelor would work. If the Bachelor or Bachelorette has a really, really, really strong relationship with a producer, right? They're going to trust them more.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to listen to them more. They're going to care about their opinion, especially if they feel like they're not being swayed for good TV. They can genuinely relate. So I would say that logic to me would totally apply in real life, right? Like we all know Peter had a close relationship with his producer, Julie, and I'm sure that when they were together, he took her opinion seriously. They clearly spent enough time together that we had a whole conspiracy theory that she is the winner, right? So it just depends, in my opinion, on A, how open the Bachelor or Bachelorette is to hearing other people's opinions. Some people are not interested in what someone else thinks they should do or not do. And B, if they trust the person or production in general.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
No, I agree. Lindsay says if she doesn't pick Matt, I think Matt has a good chance of being the Bachelor. I think, based on what we know about him, but I also think knowing this show, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, we don't know. Like, that's the thing is, like, we've already formed some opinions on some of these guys based on, like, very little information, whereas with Matt James, like, we know a little bit more about him because obviously he's very close friends with Tyler, and we've been watching them do their quarantine crew thing and all of that. However, we don't know how the show will play out with Matt James, and there could be another guy that we end up loving even more than Matt James. But I'm just curious to see what's going to happen.
The other thing is, like, I honestly, I wouldn't call myself a fan or not fan of Matt James. I know of him, but like, I know there are members of Bachelor Nation who truly like stan Matt James already. They're really big Tyler fans. They know a lot about Matt. They follow him, and they're really invested. And a lot of those people say he would make a great Bachelor. And sure, I will take their word for it. Absolutely. The one thing is, though, just because we like the guy and he has some qualities that could make him seem like a great Bachelor, and he's positive about Clare from the outside, the two of them could meet and have the driest, dullest, most boring chemistry connection period, right? So, like, we don't know that he's going to make it far. We don't know that he won't be eliminated early and end up on, what's the show? Bachelor Paradise. His journey could be 100 things.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's just all unknown. But I am very excited to see what the heck ends up happening. Will the average age of leads trend upwards over time? I don't think it'll keep going up. However, I do think that this gives them the chance to obviously like cast an older Bachelor next time. But then, like, even though that could keep happening, you know, Bachelor Nation, you guys, they like all of a sudden throw Nick Viall in our faces after we haven't seen him for who knows how long, and he's been on like 8 of the shows. Like we never know. Sometimes they pick the most totally random person, like Ari, for instance, so random. So I don't think it necessarily means that it's going to keep going up in age. I just think that is obviously like a possibility. Dochi, you're going to
Totally.
knock over my leg. Come here. Oh my gosh. There it goes. It happened. It's fine. But anyways, you guys, if you would like to hear more about what's happening in Bachelor Nation, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell, because Fiona and I will be right back here talking about it all. I'm sure Peter's going to make another TikTok, and guess who's going to report on it? Us. So
we will.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Exactly. In the meantime, if you want to follow Fiona or myself, you can follow me at Renee Ariel on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. And Fiona, where can they follow you?
You can follow me at all of those same places at Fiona Zaring.
Perfect. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with us, and we'll see you back here real soon.
Bye, guys.
Oh my gosh, Dolce, what's going on?